Many people are angry in this country, in particular a lot of whites, because they say the Black Lives Matter movement has released a manifesto of the list of demands of what they want and what they believe. And in that list of demands of what they want, they list reparations, they list educational reform, healthcare reform. Those things, to me, are great things. And I think it's wonderful that they put something in writing to put before the world of what they really want and what's in the best interest of this nation in regards to black people. You know, many in this nation are asking, what should Black Lives Matter do? And in which direction should they go? The shooter in Dallas, Michael Johnson, is reported that he was angry with Black Lives Matter. And I understand why he probably felt that way, because he was of a real radical extreme mindset, and he's wondering why they are not at that same mindset that he
You're
is,
not giving this
and
guy,
really should not be.
You're not
but
forgiving this guy, are you?
That's not what I'm doing. But also what I am doing, I understand the conditions in America that produced a mindset like that. Injustice on a consistent basis breeds insanity. And that's what's happening in America with black people.
You know what's happening? Cornell, I want to talk to you about this last week. This young 10-year-old, very intelligent-looking young lady, a black young lady at a Pearland school who will not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in her classroom. She doesn't want to stand up because apparently she believes that black Americans need a lot more to be done in this country. She is not willing to support the black Americans that have fought and died for this country. You know what I believe, Cornell? And I know you supported her publicly, but you know what I think? I think at 10 years old, she has no real understanding of what America is. So I wonder if her parents have sat her down and explained what Americans have given their lives, white, black, red. It doesn't make any difference. They stood and they fought and they died for this country, and she doesn't want to do anything to honor them?
Matt, she comes from a family of military service members. Her father is a retired military service member also, who served this nation well with great dignity. She also has additional family members who was in the armed forces.
Good.
Her mother's a very intelligent woman who has had long conversations, as well as her father, about her not standing for the flag. Many people are angry in this country, in particular a lot of whites, because they say the Black Lives Matter movement has released a manifesto of the list of demands of what they want and what they believe. And in that list of demands of what they want, they list reparations, they list educational reform, healthcare reform. Those things, to me, are great things. And I think it's wonderful that they put something in writing to put before the world of what they really want and what's in the best interest of this nation in regards to black people. But why are they angry about reparations, Ms. Box? Why would whites have a problem with reparations going to black people when they paid them to the Japanese Americans who were put in internment camps during the war with Japan? They paid it to the Indian brothers and sisters who they gave casinos on their reservations. They even helped the Jewish people get it from Nazi Germany and what happened to them in the Holocaust. So if you helped everybody else, you got a problem with helping those you kept enslaved for over 300 and something years in this nation, black people?
Okay, so take it down a notch. So in 2008, Congress actually passed a resolution that apologized for slavery. Blanket apology. But race hustlers like in the Black Lives Matter movement, like Jesse, like Al, like ex-Barack Obama, the ultimate race hustler, they don't want things to change. They like the angst. They like things being ginned up. In the past 7.5 years, race relations have dramatically gotten worse in this country because of this leadership. And the bottom line is Black Lives Matter, DeRay McKeeson with his stay woke, looking like he's Jesus Christ being crucified. Give me a break. They are getting rich off the backs of leftists and off the backs of the black community.
Ms. Box, let me say this to you. We as black people don't need an apology in this nation. What we need is what was promised to us. They promised us after slavery 40 acres and a mule. We never got it.
That's actually not true.
No, we were promised that.
And
you know, hold on, one second. One second. But we were promised that, and we never got it. So that promise went unfulfilled to this very day. You cannot do that for others in the form of reparations and ignore the sacrifice and the suffering that black people made in this nation to make America what it is and say that we don't deserve it. That is racism.
Okay, listen to me very carefully. After the Civil War, President Jackson was the one that basically poo-pooed everything.
And he was a damn slave owner.
And he was a Democrat.
And Jackson was a slave owner.
So I didn't talk over you, don't talk over me. What the Democrat Party has done is re-enslave the black community. All those things that Black Lives Matter are about, except reparations, which is absolute ridiculousness. It's not going to happen. Education, healthcare, housing, all these things.
Ms. Box,
these are all urban problems that are in the hands of Democrats.
Slavery never ended in America.
That is, okay.
It never ended. Let me say this. Physical bondage ended, but political slavery, financial slavery, educational slavery, healthcare slavery, all of that never ended to this day in America for black people.
When are race hustlers going to stop and say, okay, we're not in chains anymore. America welcomes us. This is a land of opportunity.
We will say that with the same day you all write that check to black people called reparations for what we deserve.
You mean all
you wrote it to others, you sure as hell should write it to us.
All reparations is redistribution of wealth, another liberal scheme.
But you're only redistributing what you stole.
Okay.
So what's wrong with sharing and giving back for what you stole?
You know what? I want you to talk to black people who have successfully gotten out of the bondage, as you call it, and you call them slaves, Cornell.
A few select Negroes does not represent the suffering masses who are still there.
They're all Uncle Toms. No, Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization. They continue to prove it.
And they've killed nobody. That's crazy as hell.
Their rhetoric has.
You know, many in this nation are asking, what should Black Lives Matter do? And in which direction should they go? The shooter in Dallas, Michael Johnson, is reported that he was angry with Black Lives Matter. And I understand why he probably felt that way. Because he was of a real radical extreme mindset. And he's wondering why they are not at that same mindset that he
You're
is
not giving this
and
guy,
really should not be.
You're not forgiving this guy, are you?
That's not what I'm doing. But also what I am doing, I understand the conditions in America that produced a mindset like that. Injustice on a consistent basis breeds insanity. And that's what's happening in America with black people.
You know what's happening? You know what's happening, Quanell? There are black and white people that would like nothing more than for us to stay fighting because they somehow achieve a bit more money or a bit more prosperity or a level that they like. But they've got to make sure that white people and black people or any race are fighting each other and they're all jazzed up over something.
Okay, the story that many of us keep on avoiding, and I guess all of us are seeing it. Some people keep really avoiding it. Some people keep supporting it strongly. And either way, everybody supports it the way they feel like, you know. That story is repression. And I noticed that in the middle of all these questions, why is this topic so difficult to agree on? Why is it so difficult to agree on reparation? Why are people trying to avoid it by all means? By any chance they get, they try to avoid this whole thing. Okay, they try to avoid this whole thing by all means. And now, let's just begin by this. If we can't support something because of we are trying to escape responsibilities of the same thing, then something must be going on unwell somewhere. I have the clip here. Finish it. I'll come back.
Most people succeed. And that ain't me, and I certainly hope it isn't you either, Quanell, although I'm not so sure.
This nation, Matt, is at a crossroads. If we want to prevent another Michael Johnson, and I sit here with you for 6 years, and I warned you right from this seat that a Michael Johnson would be produced in America if injustice and police killings were not held accountable, these cops. And I'm warning you right now, brother. I'm telling you can take it or let it alone, and you don't have to listen, and this audience doesn't have to listen. But if they don't change, the next move, terrorist organizations from outside of America are going to try to connect with black people who are angry, disgruntled, and frustrated, and use them as an inside sale to strike America. That's what's coming.
His first stop was to an organization like yours. And, you know, the new Black Panthers, he thought maybe that would be the place to go. Can you imagine that in this guy's mind, he looked at you as someone that he could use to go after people like me?
I put the brother out.
I know you did.
Because I had no choice but to do so for the safety and security of the other members because of the brother's rhetoric. But at the end of the day, I understand what has produced that kind of mindset in many young black men. Don't you dare think.
That's a dangerous thing for you to say, Quanell.
Don't you dare think that Michael Johnson was the only one thinking like that in America. He is not. There are other black people in America across this country who think just like
And
that,
let me
brother.
tell you something, Quanell. There's all different races and breeds of people that unfortunately are thinking that way because there's a fire lit under them by individuals that are smiling from ear to ear, hoping something like that does happen. I'll tell you who wants to see it is Hillary Clinton.
Man, ask yourself the question. If black cops were in white neighborhoods executing young white boys like they do black men, and they were never held accountable, what would you white people do?
Let me tell you something.
You would go to war. You would go to war.
44% more police officers just now in 2016 have been killed trying to do their job than all of last year.
But Matt, we have been fighting police brutality really publicly since the 50s.
You don't shoot them. You don't shoot them, Quanell.
Nothing has changed.
You don't shoot them.
I agree with that. And they should not be killed or targeted. But Matt, that 1% that they say is bad among them, that 99% better get off their ass and tell the truth and get rid of the 1% that's doing these things.
Well, you do the same thing.
Matt, we have been trying.
Let
me tell you something. If these racists on these police departments don't get off their ass and deal with the bad element, I'm telling you, there's going to be more Dallases in America.
Then you and I get together and we'll stand up and we'll help them get them off their ass. Let's do that.
I have no problem with that. But the chief and district attorneys got to be held accountable to hold everybody to the same standard when they commit a crime, cops and citizens.
So, Quanell, I want to talk to you about this last week. This young 10-year-old, very intelligent-looking young lady, a black young lady at a Pearland school who will not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in her classroom. She doesn't want to stand up because apparently she believes that black Americans need a lot more to be done in this country. She is not willing to support the black Americans that have fought and died for this country. You know what I believe, Quanell? And I know you supported her publicly, but you know what I think? I think at 10 years old, she has no real understanding of what America is. So I wonder if her parents have sat her down and explained what Americans have given their lives, white, black, red. It doesn't make any difference. They stood and they fought and they died for this country, and she doesn't want to do anything to honor them?
Matt, she comes from a family of military service members. Her father is a retired military service member also who served this nation well with great dignity. She also has additional family members who was in the armed forces.
Good.
Her mother's a very intelligent woman who has had long conversations as well as her father about her not standing for the flag. What white people need to understand is
Just
that,
white people?
Yes, please. Let me explain. What white people need to understand is that that national anthem was written by Francis Scott Key, a slave owner.
Oh, here we go.
Who demonized and hated black slaves and black people. And that unwritten third, that unheard of and unspoken third verse, go research the third verse where he says, there's no refuge in this country for the hireling or the slave. Both should be turmoil to the grave.
How's her parents doing?
This is a man
Are they successful?
that promised turmoil for black people to the
So
grave. Would you ask Jewish children to
parents
say
are
a pledge
successful.
to a German anthem that disrespects Jewish people?
If they're
No, you
living
would
in
not.
Germany,
No,
sure.
you would not.
Well, sure.
That disrespects Jewish people?
Then
No,
why,
you would not.
You certainly can kneel down. In America, you have the right to do that. But what will happen to her, how her friends will respond, how the school will view her, how Americans will view her is very negative. This is not what you want for your 10-year-old child.
And let me say to that young girl and others like that young girl, America looked at the same way at Rosa Parks when she refused to get up and give up her seat to a white man on the bus. But history vindicated her. History vindicated her.
Two different
America
things.
demonized Harriet Tubman for freeing slaves from slavery, but history vindicated her. So I say to that young girl, you stand strong, stand up, and stand for what you believe in. And to all of those who are too coward to do it, don't get in that young girl's way. Others like her, support that young girl.
What would you like her to say to the men and women who have fought for this country like I ran into over the weekend? The black men and women who fought for this country and some who gave their lives.
And ask the black men and women who served America in its military, like in the Independence War. We helped America get it, and we were still slaves afterwards. Ask those in Vietnam who gave their war on Vietnam battlefields, but then came back and was called niggers in their own country. We have fought in America's war, and we've never been given the justice and the due process of everybody else in this nation.
Then why don't you move to a different country? Why are you staying here if you don't like it?
Let me tell you why. Because
Why?
the country belongs to Indians. You white folks stole it from them, raped and robbed their people. This not your country. You all came over here and stole it and beat the hell out of them.
When I was
So this
born,
not your country.
it was my country.
You all need to go home.
If you're
you
not
all need to go back where you
interested,
came
if
from.
you don't like it, why don't you
Excuse
pack
me?
up and go?
Let the Indians decide who should pack up and go, and I guarantee you black folks will stay, and you all will be on the first damn boat leaving here. So don't try that, brother. You all didn't make America. This is not your country.
What you should do is sit down with someone who has fought for this country, Cornell. Get their opinion, too.
Tons of black people have, and what have we gotten from it?
Welcome back to this space. Okay, you have watched the clips. You have learned one or two or three things, and being honest with you, white people speaking about this point of black people don't listen. Black people are not listening anymore. It's just that black Americans are tired of complying to you or doing what you want. They are done doing as you want everything to be done. Black people are choosing themselves this time over your own interest, over anybody else's interest. So the clip just watched has a lot of things, right? And anytime somebody said one thing, whenever your dog barks at you, it means that there's somebody somewhere feeding it, or else the dog is feeding itself. The dog is now depending on itself. It has not stopped depending on you, because if the dog has sit down and think once, twice, thrice, it has realized that you are the one depending on it for security, for many things, right? So the dog has felt like whenever a lion from somewhere around here attacks me, I will die, but you will live as a human being. So the dog thought of, what if I escape the lion? Will I live or will I die? I will survive. Well, and if I die, at least I would have died trying, without rather than dying trying to protect somebody else, defending somebody else who is in somewhere having everything figured out, everything is runs on smoothly. What am I saying? Black people learned one thing: white Americans depends on them more than they depend on the whites. So when I talk about the dog barking at its owner, because white people have always felt like they own black Americans. Black people are slaves, well and good, but you don't own them. So the dog is barking at you. Whenever the dog barks at you, it means that there is somebody controlling it, or else the dog is now depending on itself. Black people are depending on themselves on almost everything, because don't give them the space to express how they feel, what they want, what they should do, what should be done. Like everything they are doing, it's for themselves. So why should I keep on depending on you while you are the one you can't live without me? You are the one who is depending on my... Wait a minute. So whenever you see a white man saying that black people don't listen anymore, it's because the black people they have been trolling, they have tired of listening to them every now and again. You see? So black people are now working on themselves, building their lives. And white Americans are raging, are angry when they see a black man being honest with himself and trying everything in his position to figure out what he's supposed to be, what he is, and what he is supposed to be to build for his generation, right? Because not every day they'll be depending on white Americans. Tell me in the comments, do you feel like black people are ignoring white Americans, or black people have now they know their value, they know that white people depend on them? Peace be with you, and I love you.